Heroes Reborn #4 with Dr. Spectrum. Yo, loved it.
Wait, let me caveat that.
Okay.
As a Heroes Reborn story in this event from Jason Aaron, terrible. As a standalone comic that is about a cool character that is new, amazing.
The
art in this,
though, yeah, the art in it is fantastic. I will say this: I'm not, I am not a avid and or even educated Supreme Squadron reader, right? So outside of really Hyperion, I don't really know any of the characters. I don't know their personality, how they actually are, their character development, none of it. And I genuinely did not know that Dr. Spectrum was in the military. And I didn't know that he was even more of a red-blooded American than Hyperion. I had no idea.
Dr. Spectrum is, a lot of people call him, or his analogy to DC as Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. And I think you could take it a step further and say that Dr. Spectrum is Hal Jordan.
Okay.
He is, Hal Jordan was in the Air Force. He's not quite as I'm proud to be an American, but
right.
He was in the military. He's definitely that kind of guy. That is very much where Jason Aaron, I say that's very much where whoever was drawing their inspiration from for Dr. Spectrum.
Yeah, because I feel like
specifically Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan is a little bit more sympathetic. I thought he is anyway. I could be wrong on that.
Not if you're reading Jeff Johns, whenever literally every single issue is about how you fucked everything up by being Parallax and you killed all these people and look how bad you did. The whole, I'm
let me
18
rephrase.
issues into it.
I'm not saying that. I meant more the U.S. is first.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because Dr. Spectrum is I will drive the fear of God. He basically has imperialism ingrained into his identity, essentially. That's just his character. He's a God-fearing, loving American. And I felt like that was more of the vibe of Hyperion, but this guy's through the fucking roof with it. Whereas Hyperion's just I hate commies. But yeah, the artwork in this was fantastic. I guess the only thing I'd say that was disappointed in was the fact that Thanos is in it for a panel.
Yeah.
So,
it's a badass panel.
No doubt.
Let me see if I can find it. It's near the... All right, here we go. Show that off. I don't know if you can see it well or not.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the artwork in this was fantastic. I loved... I liked everything about it. I thought it was a really fun issue. And I like that my dad is... Opal and Gigi are literally in the house. Yeah, because they're literally staying with me this weekend, and they are downstairs watching the show. So that's my parents. Anyway, I don't know. I like the issue. The only thing that I said, the lack of Thanos in the issue was kind of disappointing, and also the whole. I just didn't know the personality of Dr. Spectrum, so I was a little thrown off when he was just hoorah, and just shooting everybody with a gun and talking about colonizing space for the United States. It was just that was the only thing that I was wait, what? I did not expect that. But that's not a bad thing.
No, I agree. I wasn't expecting this much deep cosmic lore to be involved in here, and I really, really loved that Jason Aaron threw back to his cosmic days of writing events and stuff with Original Sin, and we brought up the Watcher again, and the Watcher's here again with both of his eyes gouged out, which essentially is what happens to him in Original Sin.
Right.
And he's the guy pulling the Watcher's the bad guy pulling the strings against Dr. Spectrum in this story. Here's the Watcher without his eyeballs.
Looks like my son when his allergies attack.
Oh god. And then the other antagonist of this story is Rocket and Groot in the most amazing interpretation of them I think that I've ever seen. It's all the cool things I think you think about Rocket, of this humanoid raccoon, but he's also like a cyborg raccoon. He's got an eye patch. He uses Groot as a gun throughout the whole issue.
Yep.
He rides like a space motorcycle that shoots missiles out of the front. He's stationed out of nowhere, just like in normal continuity. It's a really badass panel with that celestial head just floating. Dr. Spectrum is the one who rips the head off of the celestial in this universe, in this interpretation. I don't know. For me personally, just again as a cosmic goon that just loves all things space, I loved this issue, and I really enjoyed the. To be honest, the why I liked this so much is this felt like an independent comic. Like this didn't feel like a Marvel comic. I mean, obviously the familiarity with these characters were here, but it felt very much like an independent comic with the art style, with the narrative style, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and what I like about it too is, outside of the fact that the Heroes Reborn story is just kind of like still kind of meh, I do like the fact that there's this consistent, like, our heroes that we know, in the back of their minds something's wrong, right? And like we get at the end of this issue, so basically what happens is this Rocket almost takes out Dr. Spectrum to the point where like he almost gets that little diamond that he has or the prism, and then he comes back and lights Rocket Raccoon to blaze. So then he ends up being empowered by the Star Brand, and he has like the Star Brand force essentially. But we find out that the actual Star Brand exists in this comic, and it's the little girl, but she's almost an adolescent. She's like 8 or 9. Right. And so at the end of the comic, she's like, something's wrong. This is not right. Like something's off. And so she goes, and we get an introduction to the fact of like space Black Panther or space Wakandans are showing up in the next issue, which is kind of cool. The other thing that again we've been playing with is the fact that Mephisto clearly has his hand in this. The U.S. basically worships him as God. Now his name is on the currency. Like in Mephisto we trust. When they go to church, they pray to an altar of Mephisto. So this is clearly that storyline that Aaron wanted to play with prior to the pandemic hitting. Like I said, overall, I really enjoyed this issue. I think you're right. I think it's dead on. Like this would be a perfect independent book of like a what if. It would definitely have some loose ends to figure out, but that's what most of these what ifs back in the day kind of did. It was just like they kind of just ended, right? And so this would be a perfect version of that. Overall, I think this is the strongest Reborn issue outside of issue 1.
Yes, but again, I do think the caveat needs to be strong that it is not because, like, it's to me, it's really because it didn't feel like the previous two issues.
100%.
Like it felt very much outside of that. But.
Right, and we were almost like when we started realizing that each issue is going to be going down the road of each specific squadron member. We were kind of getting a little disappointed, and this one kind of like at least stepped the game up in the sense of like, and everything has to be taken into account. The writing was good, the artwork was fantastic, the coloring was fantastic, the flow of the book worked really well, and I wasn't disappointed at the end when we got our like, what our heroes are actually doing or trying to figure out panels, right?
Right.
So overall, I really enjoyed it. I think the next one is Nighthawk or the Batman equivalent, so we'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, at the same time, I kind of feel like I know where this is going. Could be wrong, but this is currently the strongest issue out of the squadron member issues that we're getting.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Heroes Reborn number 4.